This is another episode of Sticky Note Conversations with Erika Washington.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a new season of Sticky Note Conversations. This is your host and creator, Erika Washington, and I have really missed being on the air. We haven't had a new show since I think the end of November of last year. So just right after the election. And so now here we are. It's 2025. I can't believe that it's 2025. I don't even know if I've actually started writing 2025 yet consistently, but it's 2025. We have a new president. We have some new elected officials in Congress and in local politics all over the country. We've got some new policies going into place. There's shenanigans and it's only January. And so I figured, let's just talk about some current events on this first episode, see where everybody's head is, and let's take it from there and see what this season will bring, which I'm sure will be shenanigans and some tomfoolery. So I'm excited. My first guest of the new year, of the new season, is a good friend, Alvin Hill. He's a hometown Detroit boy who you might remember when you hear his voice from our last season of American Dreams, Reproductive Justice. We featured his story along with a few other folks who are from the D. And if you did miss it, please make sure you go back and listen to American Dreams, Reproductive Justice Season 2. Episodes 4 and 5, I believe, are where Alvin is featured. But needless to say, as I always like to do, I'd like to introduce Alvin, but I want him to tell us, who are you and how do you show up in the world?
I am the light. I'm the example. Yes, I'm the light. Listen, I come in and I walk in with a smile. I walk out with a smile. It don't matter what happened while I'm in the room. I'm always smiling because I know that no matter what happens, it's always going to be a good day.
And so you are also the light and an entrepreneur.
Definitely.
You have your own show. Tell folks about your show.
So I jump on here. I like to do my live streams. I call it an info stream because even though I talk about current events and different things like that, I try to bring some information to the stream. I don't like mess, so I don't bring mess on there, but I have an opinion. So at first, I went through a thing where I was wrestling myself about doing it, especially with regularity, because you like, man, who want to hear what I'm talking about? But then you start getting followers and people start tapping in and you're like, okay, they asking me for it. So I do it at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending on what's going on. As I talked about earlier, I had some vision problems over the past couple months. So it's been like few and far in between, like every other week, and I felt like it because I couldn't really see the screen like I needed to. But it's live, it's on YouTube. I want to move it over to the podcast space, so I'll probably do that in the next few weeks, actually.
Okay, but you are on YouTube and on Facebook, right?
Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I think those three. I just got different Facebook pages that I do it on, so it's like my JP1 page. And then my personal page, my Instagram page, and my YouTube page. They're all the same. It's Chosen One Jackpot, the number one.
Okay. Chosen, the number one Jackpot. That's right, because your nickname is Jackpot.
Jackpot. Everybody called me Jackpot. I shortened it to JP1. Basically, it was Jackpot, the Chosen One. And that just came from my nickname being Jackpot. I was recording The Chosen One, which was my first album. I was like 15. And I would say, it's Jackpot, The Chosen One. And it just became my moniker. So I Y2K'd it up when I was released from the state prison in 2011 because I had started drawing a logo on my music as I was writing it. It's a JP and a 1. And I was like, look, I might as well just do JP1. So I came home and just Y2K'd it up. So it's JP1 if they want to listen to some music. JP space ONE.
Okay. So I wanted to talk to you about just everything that's going on. I feel like I don't know if we're really living in an overwhelming time or if it's really the same as it's always been, but we just have access to more media and more channels in which to consume things. So it feels like it's more overwhelming between watching the news, cable, social media, newspapers, if you still read them, just the internet in general. And so it feels like every which way you turn, something is happening. And so I want to start with the inauguration, which was now a couple of weeks ago. I didn't watch it live. I saw bits and pieces, clips of it or what have you, but I actually took the day and slept in a little bit. And I didn't have any real feelings because I think all my feelings I probably felt in November, but wanted to kind of get like a gut check of like, did you watch it? Did you have thoughts and feel like what was going on in your mind, in your circle during the time of the inauguration?
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch anything that like Trumpish. I was very vocal on my social media. I have a pretty good social media presence, and I used it to state my opinion during the whole campaign or whatever. And to be honest, I was a little disappointed, but I am always optimistic. So whatever was going to happen was going to happen. So I was disappointed that certain people like that I thought had a little more sense was actually like blinded. It made me feel like we was like in a twilight zone. Like it's just like kind of like what you said about so much information being, thrown at us at one time. And we were being bombarded with so much. And it was like, look, we got Project 2025. We got this, we got that. And you don't know which way to go, because it's still, even with the Trump being Trump, it's still so much misinformation. Right? So
what do you think we're most informed about?
Uninformed, misinformed about.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's certain things that they're saying like, oh, Trump took away this or Trump did that. Like certain things is like people putting the juice on it. I don't feel like he's getting a fair shake overall. Like I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just a supporter of the truth. So I feel like a lot of things is the media is like, nitpicking a little. But I can't stand Trump. It's enough about Trump that's true that I don't like Trump. You understand what I'm saying? But it's still a lot of juice on it too. I seen something the other day. I think they were saying that he what was it? I forgot what. Oh, he released Breonna Taylor's killer and all this stuff. Like it was like a lot of stuff that I seen, and I was like, oh, let me go look this up, and it wasn't true. Like that's what I mean. Like the internet is just putting juice on it, and it may even be his supporters doing that to say, look, y'all, they trying to go for him. The same way there was assassination attempts, and all of a sudden there's no assassination attempts. Like, dude, we know that this is not what you're literally trying to make yourself look like the champion. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. Like, this is too obvious. Like, this dude is like setting up assassination attempts. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I felt a lot of kind of ways about the assassination attempts. Like, it's a dangerous game to play to try to assassinate someone in the first place, right? But then for it to be fake, which is what it felt like to me. And obviously, I don't know. I have no idea for sure. But it certainly doesn't feel real. In order to gain sympathy or to gain votes or whatever, a following, like that's creepy. Like that's real narcissistic. And so I think it's those things that scare me the most. I think also what I'm seeing is I haven't been watching the news much because I can't anymore, like just let all of that in. But I did see a segment And I think it was a CNN segment, and the reporter was in North or South Dakota, and I think it was South Dakota, and she was interviewing a dairy farmer who was a white man who voted for Trump and supported Trump, and he runs a dairy farm. And the majority of his staff are immigrant workers, and which seems like a lot of them may be undocumented immigrant workers, because it's some sort of open secret, that all these farms are employing these undocumented folks. And the reporter asked, well, aren't you concerned? Because a part of his campaign promises was to round people up and deport them and send them back where they came from or back somewhere. And he said, no, he won't really do that. That won't really happen. And I was kind of flabbergasted by it. Like, I'm just like, well, why did you vote for somebody that says they're going to do something that they're not going to do if you think that that's the thing to do? And he's like, well, he can't do that because then nobody would have any food. So, he basically admitted that without these immigrant workers, our food supply chain would be amok and crazy. But also it made me think about the fact that all of these people that work for you, whose livelihood is dependent upon you, and you use your power and privilege to vote against your own best interests, but also you voted against them as well to be able to be there to work for you, which sounds like you really don't care about them as human beings. You just care about the bottom line, and you don't even think the bottom line is real because you don't think he would actually do it, when now you're seeing that he is ready to do it, ready to just round people up and throw them away.
Just to expound a little bit on what you just spoke about. So when you think about it, did he actually vote for Trump or did he actually vote against Kamala? Right? So the thing is, if you don't feel like Trump would do what he said he'd do with immigration, what makes you think he'll do what he said he did with the economy or anything else? At the end of the day, you don't care what Trump does. You just don't want Kamala in the office. So that's what a lot of this actually amounted to, was I don't want her in the office. It didn't amount to, I want Trump back. I want another 4 years of Trump, because we were dealing with a pandemic for 2 years of Trump. Right? I was incarcerated Trump's whole presidency. Right? I didn't care one way or another one what happened with Trump. It was pandemic. It was 2 years of pandemic. So people did not care about what happened with Trump. Oh, the gas prices. It was pandemic time. Like, yes, the gas prices were, sir. Yes, food would cost us, but nobody cared. The main thing was that Kamala didn't get in the office. So that farmer, he didn't care about Trump migrating his people to wherever they came from, or if they were here legally or illegally, we don't know. But he wasn't really worried about it, because in his mind, that economy thing was just an excuse. It was an excuse that everybody picked up from somebody else. Oh, the economy was better. No, it had nothing to do with the economy. That was Obama's economy. The first 2 years of Trump presidency, we were dealing with Obama's economy. The same way Trump just inherited a rallying economy. He didn't pick up an economy that was on the downswing. He picked up a rallying economy. So anything that happens now, we'll start seeing it, his last year and a half or whatever, we'll start seeing the effects of what he's doing now. But he don't care either way, because he's not running again. He'd tear this place up and go about his business.
Do you think if Biden would have stayed in the race instead of Kamala, that Biden would have won? You think it still would have been Trump?
Yeah, Trump probably still would have won, because Biden is incoherent. Biden should have never... What Biden should have did was to concede before the election started. Biden should have had somebody else already. We should have had a Democratic runoff and do everything else that we should have did everything the right way. Kamala would not be in the race. Like, they literally put her in the position. Like, they made her the Democratic Party's nominee. That
But she was the
didn't earn
vice
it.
president, so you're technically next in line.
Technically, but you still have. If he would have dropped out earlier, then they could have had it would have been you go through the democratic process. Technically, she's next in line if he couldn't perform his duties as president. She wasn't next in line to run for president. That's not what your vice president is there for. If he was to be, if anything, like he was incoherent actually. We could see that he really wasn't there. She could be the president. That's what the vice president is there to take up. But it wasn't in her position. Is not that if he can't run for president next election, you can. It should have been a Democratic runoff.
So you think that if he would have never said he was going to run for a second term, and all the people got in that thought they could win, and it was someone else, because even if Kamala came in then, do you think that it would have been different for her if she would have come in and run in this way where it started, 2 years ago, I guess?
Definitely. So that will give you, if you look at it, the Democrats didn't even get behind Kamala until the race got tight. We didn't hear Obama say anything for her. We didn't see it until it was like crunch time. So it was literally like, okay, you need us. We got to go for the lesser of two evils. I am not a Kamala fan either. I'm just I'm just less of a Trump fan. But in the end, she lost because she didn't have the leeway that she needed to run a proper race, and she didn't have the support she needed in time to run a proper race, because he should have never ran for a second term. Like the man could barely hold a sentence. And it was like, dude, we didn't know this because they hid it from us. But you guys knew this. You should have never put him in front of people.
There's that. And I think, Biden has obviously aged quite a bit. And I mean, I think the job ages everyone. Like, everyone comes out the other side looking like they've been there for 20 years and not 4. It's a stressful job. And I also don't understand why we're not skewing younger, because I watching multiple cycles and seeing multiple candidates over the years up close and personal, and seeing how much time it takes to run, even from afar, they're always on, constantly running for 2 years for this position. Even before we know they're fully running, they're running because they're doing a lot of fundraising and they're traveling and they're doing all this stuff. And then they're bouncing around from this state to this state to, this, whatever. And I'm not an ageist person. I think 80 is a fine age that I'd like to get to. But what I don't want to be doing is vying for a job at 80, and certainly not one where I am constantly interviewing for this job for 2 straight years. And it's time consuming and it's physically exhausting. And then you got to get in and actually do the job, right? And so it really doesn't make sense to me that we're not skewing younger to find some folks who, not just because someone is older, but also because it's just an exhausting job. And I just think that I think the age should be lower too, because I think right now, what is it? Is it 35 or is it 40 to be president? I can't remember.
It
was a little bit older. But I mean, I think they can go down to like 30.
Yeah.
Let somebody young get in there and see what they do. But I wanted to ask you about Snoop. What do you think about Snoop's decision to perform at the Crypto Ball?
That's Snoop business. At the end of the day, I'm not looking at the celebrities as the trailblazers that everybody is looking at these celebrities as. These celebrities are here to make their money. They go with brands that align with their pockets more than their anything else. Snoop is a marijuana ambassador, a whatever. Before it was legal, like he was already like, look, man, this is what I do. So Snoop is Snoop. Like, we cannot keep looking at these celebrities as the trendsetters that we want them to be. They maybe can trend set fashion. maybe they can trend set some jeans or car styles or something. But when it comes to, they're not thought leaders. I don't look at Snoop as a thought leader. Right? Snoop is at the point where he's not even writing his own raps. What are we talking about? So at this point, and I'm a person that grew up on Snoop. So I'm a person that was rapping Snoop lyrics, and, you know, it was like some of the first album. The Chronic was the first album that I learned front to back and got killed for rapping it. Every cuss word, everything, right? So I'm not a person that is outside of the Snoop influence. But what I'm saying is, at this point, our thought leaders should not be entertainers and basketball players. Our thought leaders should be thought leaders. Our thought leaders should be the authors, the scientists, the people that are actually thought leaders, not celebrities, not Instagram models, not reality show stars, not people like that. So people are putting a lot on these rappers and singers and booty models and different things like that to be somebody's leaders. And nowhere else is that the case. Like, nowhere else is that the case. People look up to Tim Cook. Like, you know, people look up to Jeff Bezos. We're talking about Snoop. Like, what?
Why? Right? Why do you think there is such an fascination with celebrity and this idolization that we do as a whole look to them for guidance? And they may not be thought leaders, but in this day and age, especially, and I don't even think it's just now, I think it was probably that way also in the 30s and 40s and 50s. People care about what rich people are doing, or people who seem to be rich, because a lot of celebrities also aren't as rich as folks think that they are.
Yeah.
So what do you think the fascination is?
It is accessibility. The feeling that the accessibility come in many different forms. Before, it was the music. You feel accessible to them based on their music. You feel like you know them because the music is a part of them. Like, he beat a murder case. Murder was the case that they gave me. If you this and that, like, Tupac was one of the first people that you felt like that about. Like, I feel like I know him. Right. And then you realize, as even with me, once again, I'm of that culture. As I got older, I realized Tupac was just a really good actor. He literally was just a really good actor. Tupac was not a gangster in the sense of what I come from, with gang members being like gangsters. He was just a really good actor. Whoever he was around, he was the best of that. When he was around gangbangers, he was the best gangbanger. When he was around Black Panthers, he was the best Black Panther in the room. Whatever it took to be the best person in the room was Tupac. And when you think about it, when he was amongst actors, he was one of the best actors in the room. Right? When you think about it, he was just a really good actor. So a lot of these celebrities are really good actors. They are really good personalities. And we tend to take to personalities more than we do the arts or the science or the knowledge. So we see somebody like a Denzel Washington. We're not going to see Denzel Washington on social media doing TikTok dances. We're not going to see Denzel Washington doing a bunch of podcasts and interviews, but we'll see Snoop. We'll get some drama. We'll get, different things like that. So we feel more in touch and in tune with a Snoop, or an Instagram model who's posting every day, where somebody like Oprah Winfrey, she may not post. Jay-Z don't have an Instagram account. You know what I mean? The people that's actually, and even though Jay-Z's a rapper, I consider Jay-Z to be more of a thought leader than Snoop, because he's going to touch on political issues. He's going to, say some things that resonate with the culture more, where the culture for Snoop is low riding, smoking, and FDBs, So I'm just trying to make a level-headed analysis to where, even though Jay-Z is a rapper or Nas is a rapper, is like, that's not a Snoop or a Nelly. Like, you're a party rapper, and that's fine. Like, go party. I'm not worried about what you say.
But do you think, I know, because for me, where I shop and what I watch and what I listen to, I do need it to align with my values. And so thinking about celebrities and how they skew in politics, where they stand, what issues they stand on, makes a decision of whether or not like I want to like mess with you, whether I want to watch your movies or listen to your your music or whatever that is. Like, I'm not listening to R. Kelly. Like, I'm just not. And I think there's room for separation between the person in the music or the person in the acting. I think there could be some of that, but also knowing that listening to his music contributes to their income or their bottom line is where the problem lies for me, right? So also when I think about Snoop or whomever, I care about how they vote. And it's not so much that I need them to be a registered Democrat or a Republican or anything. Like, you can be who you are, but where do you stand on issues? Like, where do you stand on who you support and what policies they support and that sort of thing, because it affects my bottom line too in that way, because I'm a firm believer in removing that idea of one vote, one voice, like your vote is personal and it's just about you, because it's not. Mm-hmm. My vote affects you too, because I can't just think about how my vote affects me or my family, but it's a domino effect on how it's going to affect your family and your friend's family and all of that. And somebody could be affected in a really tragic way based upon me just being selfish and only thinking about what I need. And so wanting to know if people think broader, because an actor is an actor and an entertainer is an entertainer, but that's not all they are. They're still human beings. And even if they have a lot of money, so they're going to think differently about who they vote for, basically, sometimes off of how much money they make and what tax bracket they're in. So they're thinking about policies affect them a little bit differently, but also are they thinking broader about the bigger community and not just in their bubble? Like, those things matter to me. So I guess what I'm wondering is there any sway with you, like with how celebrities turn out for whether they're supporting a candidate or showing up and being politically or civically engaged? Does that sway you or make you think about anything at all, or do you not care?
I don't care. I don't give no weight to the celebrities. I don't think none of them real. I think everything is a show. All of them can be bought until they show me something different, right? Till they So when you talk to a Nelly or Snoop, they're going to tell you, well, I got $1.5 million. Like, I don't have $1.5 million. I'm just saying I don't have it to say, well, don't go there. Don't go perform for Trump and I'll give you 1.5, right? So if it give context, it's the same thing as like me being from the streets. I'm very big and vocal about not dealing with rats, right? Not dealing with snitches. And even though I've changed my life, I haven't done anything illegal in years and years, but that's something that's dear to me, that it's a personality thing. So I look at celebrities like, look, at any moment they could be rats. At any moment they could be working with the feds. At any moment, I just look at them like I'm not connected to them. Like, I have no connection to them. I don't feel connected to celebrities. I am not I'm going to tell you the last celebrity that I was a genuine fan of. I'm a fan of LeBron James. I like LeBron James. That's the only person right now that I'm like a genuine fan of. Like, I stay up late and watch his games. Like, we 3 hours behind here, and I will watch the games. I hate when he went to the West Coast. Like, dang, I got to stay up late. But I'm a LeBron James fan. I basically grew up with LeBron James. We're the same age. So I am a LeBron James fan, but I'm not I won't even say I'm not a personal fan, because he's done nothing personally to make me not a fan. So even when people talk about LeBron, I talk about how LeBron has actually stood up for certain things that Jordan would have never. And I'm a Jordan fan too. But I'm just saying, it's things that LeBron does that other celebrities won't do. And so I like LeBron for that. But other than that, I'm a Kobe. I was a Kobe fan. Rest in peace to Kobe. And I was a really big Nipsey Hussle fan, because he was very vocal about his gangbanging. This is what I grew up on. He had sense, and he talked to his people. And so I've always done that myself. Like I've always felt like even though I'm in the streets, I got some sense. I don't have to be dumb or dumb myself down. So after the Nipsey thing, like Nipsey would have never. You see what I'm saying? I felt more connected to Nipsey. I still listen to his music regularly because I felt connected to him. That's the last artist that has came out that I feel connected to, where I listen to the music, and I listened to his music from like 2009 maybe, and I felt connected to him. I don't feel connected to any other artist. I'm just being honest. I don't feel that connection to any other artist to where I can relate to being in the streets, being in a gang, it's like where I felt like, okay, I want better for my people. I want to do better for my people. So with Snoop is he's a jester to me. Like he's a part of the minstrel show. Nelly is a jester. Like I don't think of Nelly like I do Nipsey Hussle, where I'm looking at your character and saying, this is why I rock with you. And somebody told me that as an artist. I bumped into somebody and I was trying to sell him my new CD. And I was like literally trying to sell him this CD. Like, man, I'm this, that, and I'm such a good rapper and I did this and that and that. He said, nah, JP, I know you. He said, man, I rock with you. I said, yeah, man, because the music. He said, nah, I rock with you. No joke. When he explained it to me, he said, no, I rock with you. I rock with what you stand for. It's a difference than me liking your music. I can like R. Kelly music, but I don't feel connected to R. Kelly. I've never liked young girls. When I was in high school, I liked older women. So I don't relate to anything that you got going on outside of this music. But I like your music. And like Snoop, I like some Snoop music and I like some Nelly music. But I have no connection like I had with Nipsey, where I can put his CD on and listen to the whole CD and like, dang, I rock with this. I feel this. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if anybody have that type of connection with Snoop.
If Nipsey was still alive and he made a political stand on one side or the other, would that have made you think or swayed you in some way?
Nah, he made a stand the last political election. He said, F Donald Trump. F Donald Trump. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So, see, when you have that type of connection, I don't think he'll do anything that's that far away from what I feel I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Even the way they say he passed, if you just realize what I just said about rats. Dude was in it. Look, man, I heard they say you ain't right. Your paperwork ain't right, man. You know what I mean? I'm like that type of person. So when I say that's the last artist that I felt connected to, I mean that's the last artist that I listened to. I've met Nipsey, I can't say I don't know what he would do because he's a human being, but that would make me feel like, okay, now I don't know if that was a genuine connection. If you do something that far off of what I feel like you would do. Mm-hmm. Right? Like people hated Kobe, right? I didn't see anything wrong with Kobe. Kobe, he had some of his own indiscretions. People hated his personality because he was an introvert when you really think about it. It's literally just people are so used to other people being in his position, being a certain way. Like even LeBron is happy-go-lucky, high five. He hang out with his teammates and he's friendly with them. And, Chris Paul is my best friend and D-Wade, he's that person. And Kobe like, nah, I just get up, I go to the gym, I do such and such. You see what I'm saying? And even though I'm not necessarily that type of person, I understand that type of person. Because if I had everything the way I wanted it to be, I would be more of that type of person. Right?
That makes sense. And I think to your point about introverts, people, because I'm an introvert, so I know firsthand that people can think that you're just funny acting because you're not saying a lot. And you do more watching than you do talking. And that's just naturally who I am, which is, I think, part of the reason why I was always attracted to journalism in the first place. I get to ask the questions. I don't have to be the center of attention. I don't want to be 9 times out of 10. But I know that I have come across as aloof or, unaffected or, whatever, because like I don't have anything to say, and not trying to just make weird small talk, because then it's awkward, and then I feel awkward, and the whole thing is awkward. So imagining a celebrity being that way because they're good at their job, but then just the outside regular world being weird and they're sort of awkward with it. And then people are like, oh my God, I met such and such and they were so mean, or they were so distant and I don't like them. And then based off of that 2 seconds, someone's made a whole judgment about you and then talked about you on the internet. And now everybody thinks this because of, this one interaction or 2 interactions.
But in reality, you were around me for a few days. You probably seen that I'm more introverted than you would think from the interviews. Like I literally found my corners. If you think about it, I found my corners. Even at your office, I found my corner.
Oh no, that was one day I was like, where is Alvin?
Yeah,
has anybody seen him? Where did he go?
Yeah, I found my corner. When we went back to the hotel, I found my corner. If you think about it, I always find my corner. But when it's time for me to have these type of conversations, I don't mind having them. But if you're around and I wasn't there for that, I'm finding my corner. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean by I understand it. If I was in that position to where my family depended on me doing my job a certain way, I'm going to find my corner. I'm not hanging out with you because if I hung out with you and broke a leg tomorrow or had gotten into a bar fight and broke my hand and I had to miss money, you're not going to take care of my family, right? So his mindset was very much mature for him going to the NBA at 18 and learning a lot of lessons early. If we think about it, he retired at 38? I'm 40 now. You know what I'm saying? So for him to retire at 38 and to have this much, when everybody's opinion of him is so consistent. I'm me. I'm not being funny. I'm me. If your opinion of me was different than Sincere's and Shaka's and whoever else's, I'm not being sincerely me. But if everybody's opinion of Kobe is consistent, that's nothing funny. It's like nothing. It's not funny acting. I'm just me. You can love me, hate me. I'm just me. I'm good at what I do. But I like being alone. I play a team sport, so I have to be on a team with y'all. And I do the best I can do with my team. But if I do this, I'll get like-minded people. Like they said, at first, they were like, Kobe tripping. When they went on a USA team, oh, Kobe tripping, And then, like, Melo then was like, dang, this dude in the gym at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, we tripping. Let's get in the gym. Like, you're either going to take the good with me, or you're going to stay over there. I don't have to fit in with you. For you to feel comfortable, you have to come with me. So it's literally that type of thing. And I'm being honest. The older I get more and more to myself because I start seeing more and more weird stuff, like the Snoop stuff, like Snoop. But you got to think even here, Trick, different people was supporting Donald Trump, and I'm like, this is weird. Like it's weird. But I'm not surprised because the feds, the last time I just went to jail, I was a grown man in jail. The first time I went to jail, I was a kid. So I didn't keep up with politics, none of that. It wasn't important to me. What was important to me at 18, 19, 20, 21 was that I gambled good. The reality TV shows was hot. I was like, oh, Flavor of Love. Oh, it's a little booty shot. So, those type of things excited me. But when I went back this time, I was a grown man. I understood politics and the economy and different things like that. So I paid a little more attention, and I paid more attention to people. And it made me realize that people are really weird. People have, somebody will tell you how much integrity they have, and then you will watch them do something that's terrible. You'll be like, dog, what are you talking about? Somebody will tell you how religious they are, and then you'll see them steal or do something like totally against their religion, and it'll be like, dude, what are you talking about? You'll walk around with somebody I was with a guy that's like a really popular guy here, and he was like, Jackpot, because I didn't like rats. I made sure your paperwork was good before you came in my room, everything, and he wanted to come in my room, and he was like big on like, bro, I'm rolling with you. He didn't end up in my room, but he was like, bro, I'm rolling with you, man. We not eating with no rats. We not doing none of this. And then I come home and somebody sent me videos of him cooperating with the police. You feel what I'm saying? That's weird to me. but you did this for a couple years, or he may have did like 9, 10 years. And these 10 years you've been, man, I ain't rocking with no rats. I ain't doing this and that. And somebody sent me a 40-minute video. He broke it down into 4 clips, 10 minutes long, of this man cooperating with the police. Right? That's weird, but it didn't surprise me. One of my other guys, he literally cried on the phone with me. He said, I can't believe this, bro. I can't believe this. He said, if you wouldn't have sent me this video, I wouldn't have believed this. But with me, I'm not surprised.
So for people who did not listen to American Dreams Reproductive Justice, first, shame on you, because it's a great podcast. But I want to make sure that people know who you are. And you've mentioned a couple times that that you've served some time in prison. So if you want to like briefly just say, tell folks like how long you were in and what for. And then I would also love to just kind of dive a little deeper into that understanding for folks who don't understand that mentality around snitching or working with the police, because, well, we'll get to that question. Let me have you tell folks who, you know, a little bit about your, a part of your background, because it's not who you are, but a piece of your life.
So basically, I was born in Detroit. I'm going to run through like a 3-minute life story. So basically, I was born in Detroit. My mom was an alcoholic. My dad was a drug abuser. And my dad OD'd when I was 5 months. So my mom moved back to Benton Harbor with my maternal family. All her family was in Benton Harbor. And I grew up in Benton Harbor until I was 11 or 12. I went to a foster home there. I was a misfit in Benton Harbor, but it's a gang culture. It's right next to Chicago. So I grew up, my whole family GDs. I grew up a GD. The projects I grew up in was GD. Gangsta Disciple, if you're not familiar with that. I just grew up in a whole gang culture until I was almost a teenager. And then I went to a foster home. And it was still gang cultures in Battle Creek. But I went to a foster home. Then I spent time in juveniles, boys' homes, family homes until I was 18. And then I went to the state prison for 9 years for an armed robbery home invasion. I did that 9 years. I came home the day after my 27th birthday in 2011. I was home about 4 years and some change, maybe like 4.5 years before I was indicted. I was indicted with a federal case for selling pills, basically. It was dealing with scripts and pills, a whole bunch of stuff. But I fought a RICO case and I pled out to conspiracy. I ended up with 60 months in the federal prison. I went to Milan prison and I got an associate's degree in Milan prison. I met a few good professors who were very instrumental in me changing my mindset in my life. I came home in 2021 and I received my bachelor's degree in 2023. And in 2024, I received my master's degree. And at the end of 2024, I was dealing with Erika and making good podcasts.
And what is your master's in?
My master's is in, I have a dual major and dual concentration in business management and entrepreneurship and innovation. Right now, I'm an entrepreneur acceleration coach. I work with other entrepreneurs, mostly minority entrepreneurs, and we get through mindset and motivation issues. Then we create the right systems and processes to make sure that they run their business correctly. And I do these podcasts, and I have like a really good social media following because I do these podcasts and I break up the content to smaller bites and do reels and things. So I've generated a nice social media following.
Thank you. And so now I want to ask, because I think when people hear about snitching and they're like, oh, you know, that's a culture of not snitching, but people should want to tell the truth if something is happening. And how do you, you know, live with yourself if, you know, this crime happened, but you won't say anything about it because, you know, innocent people are directly affected. And then you see a lot of police shows, right? There's always police shows that showcase cops as, even when they are not good cops and they're violent cops, that they're complicated because they got backstories and all these different things. I'm thinking specifically of like Law and Order SVU and Stapler, and how Stapler was kind of off his rocker sometimes. And, but yet people still rooted for him, even though, he would be roughing people up where it was unnecessary, but people understood it, which I think leads to how people view cops in real life and how they view quote unquote criminals in real life. That if the cop says you did it, you must have did it, or if you are a snitch or a CI or something, that because you're trying to help, but also, it's good for the community. But then you've spent a lot of time talking about, you don't like snitches and you don't want to deal with snitches. I guess I want you to try to help people understand that mentality from your point of view, even though you are a person who is no longer affiliated with criminal activity or what have you, and you've changed your life and you're doing all of these great things. Why is that piece of mindset still the same for you?
When I speak of snitches, I mean people that are in the culture, in the lifestyle, and they change up and they go tell on somebody. I don't mean somebody who report a crime. So my brother is a financial advisor for Edward Jones. And if I ran into my brother's home right now and I was bleeding and I was like, bro, they stabbed me. And my brother looked on the news and he seen somebody was just killed on the west side of Detroit, and the victim stabbed the perpetrator, and he called the police on me, I wouldn't be mad at my brother. I would have no hard feelings against my brother. My brother is a law-abiding citizen. My brother, he has the right to use the police to his discretion, and he can do what he want to do. I would have no hard feelings if my brother wanted to come see me while I was locked up and talk to me. We would have a good conversation, and I will apologize for bleeding all over his nice alpaca carpet. So I'm just giving you how I feel about it, right? So now if I'm with my younger brother, who's a bit of a hothead, and we have to do something like that, and my younger brother get caught driving away from the scene and I'm going the other way, and he say, well, me and my brother stabbed the guy and he stabbed us back or whatever. Now I got a problem. Bro, you did that with me. You should have shut up and took that case, and we'll work on it, and we'll get you a lawyer, work on the back end. That is the difference. So if the lady up the street called the police on me and she said, this guy up the street is selling drugs on my block and I want him arrested, I'm not looking at her like a snitch, because I should have had my stuff a little more together to where a citizen did not see what I was doing illegally. I done a lot of illegal stuff and I was trying to be as slick as possible. So that is the difference. For you to be in the culture of the culture and for you to be a criminal and for you to turn on other criminals is the person I'm talking about. So while we talking about cop shows, let's say I like the cop shows. I like Chicago PD, Law and Order. I like all of the cop shows. So let's say the police was doing something crooked and the police told on them that was doing something crooked too. I'm going to feel like you're a rat. But if you're the police and you're a police that stick to the code and go by the rules of the game, and this other police is crooked, I'm not looking at you like you're a rat. But if you are doing illegal stuff too, and then you go tell on that person, and I'm be like, look, dude, you a rat. That's just how I feel. Now, what makes me feel that way is the feeling that a rat is a snake. It's a person that only cares about themselves. Even when I talk about Trump, right, to get back to the political thing, my thing with Trump is that he's not a man to me. What a man is to me is somebody who takes responsibility. So if I did something like that and I had a co-defendant and I went one way, he went another way, I got to take this heat because that's what a man does. Right now, if we pull up to the bank, you run in that bank and you rob that bank and jump in my car and I don't know you robbed that bank, and we pull off and they pull me over, I'm saying, I don't know what that idiot did in the bank. Right? That don't make me a rat. Now, if we went and robbed that bank and I told them, yeah, we went to rob the bank and JoJo went up the street, that's a rat. I'm just saying people have to know the difference, but you have to be of the culture to understand the difference.
No,
right?
I think that was a great explanation of it. And I think that makes a lot of sense because, yes, saving your own neck when you was a part of it as opposed to someone reporting something that they saw that they have nothing to do with.
Exactly. Or if you get caught doing something else and you tell them, like, it's been people who have caught cases for, let's say you caught a case for selling marijuana. And you like, look, I don't want to go to jail. Most guys don't want to go to jail. They're not scared of jail. They scared of losing what they have out here. So you might have Kiki over here and you don't want somebody like me humping on Kiki. So you going to go tell so you can get back to Kiki tomorrow, right? So now you working with the police. What happens when you work with the police is that you're always working with the police. Just go get a badge. Because they're going to always assume that you're going to help them. Hey, so we heard this. You've seen it on those shows. Like, hey, you don't even have to be a informant for them. Like they'll send their friends at you. Hey, we know you worked with such and such at the 6th precinct. We need some help at the 9th precinct. Like now you just work with any police. So because they already know you don't got no backbone. You know, when I caught my Fed case, they ran down my other cases to me or whatever I've been through. I say, look, man, you looking at my rap sheet, you know I ain't gonna talk to you. What we sitting here for? Like, you know, if I was that person, I'd have been that person 10 years ago. Like, he said, well, you got kids now. Yeah, it ain't gonna matter, sir.
Well, speaking of this sort of segues into what I wanted to also talk about in thinking about the removal of the DEI program from many of places, right? Which is the diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that a lot of them were installed in 2020 as a response around George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests. Many of it probably was done more for cosmetic purposes and not actually to make change in our communities and in the corporate world. So with policies at the federal level coming down and basically telling folks that they could remove it, and many of them just did, because no one was forced to, right? No one was forced to do anything. They could have kept their program, and some did and some didn't. I have been looking at social media, specifically Tabitha Brown. And I will start it off by saying I'm a fan of Tabitha Brown and have been since the pandemic. I think she is a delightful person. And I think that, and I love a lot of her recipes. I am also a mostly plant-based, not quite a vegan, so won't call myself a vegan because I'll dally with an oyster every now and again and other meats if I am actually getting a craving. But 90% of my life is plant-based. And so I love, she was an easy gateway into that space. And then she has these great products at Target. I own a lot of them. I own dish towels. I own cast iron skillets. I own a pencil bag. I own random stuff, tea kettle, cups. And now Target has rolled back in a way their DEI program. And she made a post and she didn't really say anything. She just sort of made a lot of facial expressions and rolled her eyes and was eating some grapes. Like, it was obvious what she was saying. She was annoyed, right? And then she made another post where she talked about it. And she's like, I understand that everyone has control to do with their dollar what they need to do with their dollar. And you should control your dollar. And if you choose not to spend it at Target, I completely understand that. And I don't blame you. But also remember that not just me, her, Tabitha, there are other Black-owned businesses, Black women-owned business, other folks that might be in the LGBTQ community or elsewhere that have products inside of Target or other places that this is their opportunity to be able to sell their stuff, in thinking about what it means to do like selective boycott. So maybe still going to Target and purchasing those items and those items only, and leaving the other stuff on the shelves and getting them elsewhere where you can. So there's the Lip Bar, which is a cosmetic line that's Black owned by a Black woman from Detroit. And she has a lot of products in Target as well. And she made a statement. Hers sounded a little more iffy to me, but regardless, I actually just bought something of hers for the first time at Target, like right at the beginning of the year. And And then I got something on Tabitha's too. And I felt like, one, I understood what they're saying, because also it's a bigger picture, right? They can't just be like, oh, I hate Target and I'm going to pull out or whatever, because they have contracts. You have contracts, you got distribution, you've got merchandise. I don't know where all, how much merchandise they have, but it's probably in warehouses. You're employing people. Those people have families, or they just have themselves and they have to pay their rent and all of that. And so you can't make emotional knee-jerk decisions based upon what somebody else does. However, what I'm seeing online is people pushing back and, to me, making it their fault, making it Tabitha Brown's fault, making it the lip bar lady's fault. Sorry, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Mel B. I think her name is Mel B. And wondering, like, do you think we should be boycotting? Do you think that it makes sense for us to boycott? And I mean, is there a need for this push for Black folks specifically to boycott? Because DEI isn't just about Black people at all. Diversity, equity, and inclusion isn't just meant for Black folks to end up in spaces. And a lot of times I think that's how it's skewed. But it was meant like minority, and I'm using that in quotes because I also hate the term minority, but it also includes women. It also includes white women in these spaces as well. And but for a lot of time, it feels to me like there's this onus and there's this weight on us, especially me as a Black woman, to feel like we have to respond a certain kind of way. And I feel like that's how I was feeling it for Tabitha Brown and others, is that the weight is on them. Like, what you about to do? You ain't about to do something right now? And if you don't, you a sellout and you don't care about us.
Nah, I'm going to keep it 1,000. So what happens is separation. Just separation, and it's enough for us to have separate opinions, for us to be on different things, for us to feel one way. Anything that could separate us is against us. Anything that could separate us. So as long as we're not on one thing, we'll always be weak. We'll always be weak. So whatever we do, we have to do it in unison and camaraderie and in brotherhood and sisterhood. And until we do that, we'll get Trumps. Until we do that, we'll get programs like the DEI programs discontinued or whatever. I didn't necessarily care for it myself, to be honest. I didn't feel like it was basically like you said, it was cosmetic. It was basically like, let's give you something, right? And the lady named Melissa. So with the lip bar, like you said, hers was more of a not so genuine thing because you have money involved. Same thing I said with Snoop or with Nelly. It all goes back to people that have so much skin in the game, they can't even say what they want to say. If you think about it, anytime we have a voice, we are silenced by the bigger wigs who have cut us a check. Anytime you have somebody like a Kanye, right? You have a Kanye, somebody that's given so much opportunity, so much responsibility. You have somebody that say, you said something that I disagree with, I'm going to hit you at your pockets. Where you had Nick Cannon, where they had big contracts and different things. You said something that we disagree with. We're not going to give you this contract. We're going to take something away from you. So that's another way of silencing you, right? So now you can't rally the troops. Even if I give you $1 billion, you can't say what you want to say because I'm going to take it away from you if you don't say what I need you to say. Or if you say something that goes against my policy, right? So now you have Tabitha and Melissa in this position to where it's like they're doing this, but I'm still here. So do you want me to not be here with you? Right? To where I can't feed my family or do what I want to do to forward my people, whatever that may be. right? Because I may want to write a book to help my people. I may want to open a school to help my people, whatever. I may want to do lip balm classes to help my people learn how to make this stuff so they can make some money themselves. Whatever I want to do to uplift and encourage my people, do you want me to stop because they're going to take your stuff out of the store? Or somebody you know out of the store, somebody you don't even know. So it puts us in such a position to where we're, like you say, you're looking for the response. What is the response going to be? I'm not looking for the response, right? I'm more into myself. I'm not looking for the response. I'm looking for my response. What is my response going to be? Because the lack of unity means that we'll never know the right way to go. We have to be led with our personal feelings, what's important to us, our personal integrity, our morals, our codes, our ethics, values. We have to be led by that, because the way that society is, money control everything. And no matter how much money we've gotten over the past 30, 40, 50 years, we are nowhere near the top of any type of earning class. We are nowhere near the top as a people of any type of earning class. So the Jews, white people, like whoever is controlling the money is still in control, because when Kanye said something they disagreed with, they tore up his Adidas contract. When Nick Cannon said something they agreed with, he had to go figure it out. Okay, yeah, we're going to do this, do that. And you got to come back and apologize, and then we'll think about it. They don't care. Even if you make your own content, they'll shadow ban you. It doesn't matter. They're still in control.
That's true that we don't have control. So then how do we get control? I guess is the question. Then, do we boycott? Do we selectively boycott? Like, how do we support each other so that, but what does that actually mean? Like, what does that look like?
What it looks like is you don't need Target because you got Amazon, right? You got other things like that.
But if
right?
Amazon is on
you got your own website.
BS too.
And they are. But you got your own website. I'm saying in the end, we don't support each other enough. And people always say this, like, we don't support each other enough. We're the biggest consumer class because we are still 13% of this population.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't necessarily agree with that statement, because I think that we do support each other, and the people around me support Black business. I support Black business. I am very conscious about where I spend money, and it's obviously not always possible, but where it is, when it is, it's my first line is it Black owned? Is it woman owned? And then it's like, is it LGBTQ owned, or is it, Asian owned? Like, I'll go down the list, to make sure that the money that I'm spending, that's my hard-earned money, or if it's the money of the organization that I'm spending, that I'm going to spend it as much as possible in my community. Besides Delta might get the majority of my money, but past that.
I want you to think about this though, right? So let's say we go spend money with Tabitha, right? Just using her as an example. Let's say we all say, look, y'all, we only buying Tabitha products, right? We give Tabitha $100 million, $200, $300, $500 million a year. And Tabitha go right and buy Gucci product, Fendi, whatever, like, right? So the money never come back the way it left. So no matter what, we go support Black, and they go buy whatever they want to stun on us. I ain't knocking it. I'm just saying, I ain't knocking it. And I'm not saying all Black business owners do this, but I'm saying without the unity of you support Black, I support Black, we support Black, it's like throwing money out the window.
But there's only so much, right? Because I support Black, but I do have Louis Vuitton, and I do have Coach, because I like Coach, and all of that. But it doesn't mean that, because there has to be some balance too, right? Because there's no way for us to be completely self-sufficient in that way. And we should be able to spend money wherever we want to spend money. And if Tab or whoever wants to buy a Gucci bag, buy a Gucci bag. But also,
but says who?
But says who? But it's like
you got Glamourholics here. You can go get a Glamourholic
says
bag.
a free market that you can buy from whomever you want to. Because also based on quality, right? Just because I say that I support Black business, I support quality too, right?
No, definitely.
And so I want to make sure it's quality, no matter who it is.
But you can get a Glamourholic bag.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of different bags. Like, I want a variety of bags, mind you. Like, I need.
No, I swear, I totally feel that. I'm just saying.
But I get you. I just think that
I'm agreeing with you. There's only so much we can do.
I'm hoping that she is also, and other Black entrepreneurs are also pouring back in. I am also hoping that even like Snoop Dogg, who did not technically perform for Trump, he performed at the crypto ball. The crypto ball was not but I don't think Trump was even there. And Trump has been, or Snoop has been involved in crypto for a while. So, these also might be his people, right? That whatever money he got from that, he could then pour into Black community. And so then does that make it like a null and void sort of event then, that it doesn't matter as much? Because all money is dirty too, right? All money is dirty, whether we talking about a loan from JP Morgan Chase or wherever else. Like, banks were built on slavery. Wall Street was built on slavery. All of this money is dirty. So I guess it comes down to, is it okay to then take this dirty money and then use it to benefit your community and your family, to move yourself and your community into a next generation of better income levels?
Most definitely. I'm not, like I said, I'm all for it. I don't trip. I'm not looking at anybody. I'm just being honest. I'm not looking at anybody where they spend their money, what they do. I don't care, because I know that in the end, almost all of us have a price on us, where people was, I wouldn't dare perform at the inauguration. And Trump said, I got $10 million for you up there. Oh, let me bust a jig. So people, at the end of the day, people can say what they want. The same way people are going to say, I wouldn't dare shop at Target, but they got my favorite lotion. Right? This is my favorite lotion. They the only people that got my favorite lotion. So at the end of the day, we all have that bit of selfishness in us. We all still want what we want. And it could be $1.5 million to perform what we want, or it could be our favorite lotion. And that's why it's no need for anybody to be worked up about it. All you can do is what's consistent with your morals, your standards, what you feel like integrity is. And everybody have a different level with that, right? Some things that we feel like, man, you shouldn't have did, they feel like, man, so what? What's it to you? I did it, so what? Right? That is, everybody's level is different. So all you have is your own. So now we go back to Kobe. Is he really wrong? If you want to go out and eat burgers and I just want to work out, like, who's wrong? Shaq will tell you today that Kobe was right. I should have been working out instead of eating cheeseburgers. Like, they will tell you. So at the end of the day, it's all about being as introverted as needed. You don't have to be fully introverted, but you have to be introverted a little to understand what make you tick, to understand what your goals are, to understand what's aligned with those goals and who's aligned with those goals, and to make the right decisions. You have to be introverted, because if you are extroverted and you are living for the out world, then you are never doing what's true to you, because you're looking for applause. You're looking for validation. You're looking for somebody to pat you on the back, and you will chase that all of your life, because it's never enough. It's never enough. So now you have given up integrity for a hand clap. And when you want a louder hand clap, you are losing more and more integrity, because you want the hand clap more than you want what's true to you, because you don't really know. All you know is, mama, look at me, I'm tap dancing. Oh, look at my baby. That's a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old. And now you're a 30-year-old that's still looking. Look at my behind in this thong, Instagram. Oh my God, I have 1,000 likes. Look at my followers. It's the same concept. If you are living for the rest of the world and you are extroverted in that form, like truly just living for the other people, and you want to be involved with everybody else, and you want to be out every night, unless you're a club promoter, you ain't got no reason to be out every night. Unless you are getting paid to do walkthroughs and performances, you have no reason to be out every night. But if you are always looking for those hand claps, and you are always looking for the limelight to shine on you, then you are that person, and that's fine. I can't knock you, right? I'm just gonna stay in the gym. Right? I got to stay in the gym because this is what's cool with me. This is what's okay with me. I got to do what's okay with me. And sometimes it's okay for me to go out because I feel like I want to relax. I do that on my time. I don't do it because I feel pressure to go out because it's somebody I know's birthday. Oh my God, their birthday. So what? It's somebody's birthday every day. Right?
Yeah,
It's somebody's birthday.
some people suffer from FOMO, and it's that fear of missing out, and they always have to, be in those spaces, and I can understand that for them. It's not me, but I can understand the idea of feeling like you're gonna miss something, or if you're not a part of it, that you'll get left behind, because it also is in a lot of different sectors. If you don't show up, you're forgotten about, and people are really concerned about being forgotten about, especially any line of work. I think whether from my line of work, if I don't show up to a certain number of parties and events and what have you, they'll be like, oh, I didn't even know your organization still existed, sort of thing. And it's just like, calm down. Like, I just didn't come to your gala, right? So I can see that, but also realizing that we have to take time for ourselves to figure out what's going on and what works for us is important. And you're right that we have to take care of ourselves and our families. But then also that gives us the space and the time to take care of others.
Most definitely. And it's nothing wrong with going out, like you said, with the, for whatever. You can go out to enjoy yourself. I'm just saying to go out because everybody's out. Like, nah, man. Like, and I'm not knocking that. One thing I've learned though, in me doing, me changing my life, is that I don't even worry about it. Like, I'm not looking, like, say I go on Instagram, and I haven't been on social media so much lately. Like, but let's say if I do go on Instagram and I see you was out this weekend, and I look next, oh, you was out. It only bothers me when you call and ask me for money. It don't bother me. Whatever you do don't bother me. It only bothers me when you call and ask me for money, right? I had a friend just borrow money from me, right? I didn't even tell my lady. So my friend called me a few days ago. He wanted to borrow a few $100. So, and it was for like a very personal reason. He like needed it. I'm like, look, bro, here you go. And he paid me back. I wasn't worried about him paying me back, or I wouldn't have loaned the money. But when I gave him the money, he was, he small talked me about my business and different stuff. And I was like, bro, at the end of the day, you didn't have to do that. Like, it's cool. If you ask me if I feel like you will give it back or we close enough, I do it. But when it's all said and done, like, bro, you fresher than me. You do more than me. If you wouldn't have gave my money back, I'd have had a problem. Like, dude, you went and bought Jordans with my money. Like, right. But I'm just saying, you wearing Jordans every day don't bother me. You going out every night don't bother me. You doing whatever you do, you Gucci, Prada, Louis, whatever, nothing bothers me until you ask me for money. And I feel like nothing bothered Kobe until I passed you the ball and you was too tired to do what you were paid to do. So you shouldn't have ate those cheeseburgers this weekend, Shaq, because you ran out of gas because you wasn't in the gym, right? What you do don't bother me. Or why does what I do bother you so much? What you do doesn't bother me until I need you to perform and you're not up to the task that you were paid for. I didn't ask you to go mop the hallway. You didn't get paid for that. I asked you to hit a free throw. I asked you to play defense in the fourth quarter, but you're not in shape to do this. So yes, I have a problem with you. because this is affecting me now, right? So I am in my own world. I am in the gym at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not bothering you. I didn't call you and wake you up. I go crazy. Like if you ever see my posts, I be up so early, even on the weekends. I'm like literally going crazy because it's stuff that I have to ask people that I'm like, dog, I gotta wait. Now they let you schedule your texts and stuff.
Look, schedule your text. That way you ain't sending somebody a text at 4 o'clock in the morning
but
looking crazy.
Like I forget everybody not up with me. Like, so it was like bad till somebody told me like, bro, why are you texting me at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday? I'm like, dude, I'm up. Like, I'm up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I got you. I got you. Well, Alvin, this has been very enjoyable. The only thing we didn't get to, because I think we've run out of time.
You can edit it. You can edit it. Get to it.
I can edit it. Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I'm TikTok.
Okay. So did you see Hillman talk?
I don't know what that is, girl. I'll go on TikTok when I post. But I did look it up. But it was about the women and the universities. The women.
Well, what it is that it's an organic post from a professor at a college. Her name is Dr. Barlow. She made a post introducing her syllabus for the upcoming semester of her class, which is an African American Studies class. She meant that post for her students, like her in-person students. And so she made a page so that her students would, I think she was just trying to be in touch with them or whatever. But TikTok doesn't really control where things go. Like, it's not like Facebook where usually only your friends see stuff, right? And so 1 million people saw it. And people got excited. They were like, oh, okay, I'm ready for your class. What we talking about? Like, people are like, yeah, I want to go. And she was like, what is y'all talking about? No, I'm like, no. This is, this is just for my students. And so she didn't have this expectation. And so from there, other professors on top of other professors on top of other professors started saying, oh, well, I'll teach a class too. So now there's hundreds of professors, doctorate level professors, teaching classes on TikTok. And they named it Hillman Talk, off of, Hillman, different world. And there's a mascot, Black Panther, and they got a crest. And so if you follow the hashtag, somebody has made a spreadsheet with all of the classes, with all of the professors and their handles, and they're doing lectures on TikTok. I listened to 2 lectures this morning.
Oh my God.
Ture, which is he's a podcaster. He's doing a class on the origins of like hip hop. I can't remember the name of his class, but it's something to do with the origins of hip hop. And so I listened to his lecture. I listened to Dr. Barlow's lecture about Childish Gambino this morning, and they were interesting. And then they have reading and they have like homework. Like here are all the books, here's some articles, here's some links to stuff. And, and it's this, I think people are craving knowledge.
Yeah.
But it's also Black centered, Black woman centered, and they've got electives. You got people coming on like I am. They had someone come on and they're like a guidance counselor or whatever. Hey, reach out. We've got some, different spreadsheets to help you find your classes. And if you end up scrolling, people are like, oh, I was auto enrolled. Because next thing you know, you just scroll and it said, welcome to French 201 or whatever. But you've got some people teaching French, Spanish, yoga, gardening, a few African American studies classes, music theory, and they're taking it very seriously, right? And I find it fascinating. Like, I am fascinated. I'm so fascinated that I actually think that I might actually volunteer to teach a class, because I think it's just such an interesting way to connect with people, and everybody is really good at something. Like, there's some folks on there that are teaching folks about like G Suite and MS, like Word Suite or whatever, with like PowerPoint and spreadsheets and all of that. Like, if you like, she's like, I'm certified in X, Y, and Z, so I can help you with all your spreadsheets and how to do your formulas and all of that. And I think it's amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing. And
you just gave me an idea. I should do it for high level.
You could do that. You could you could become a Hillman Talk professor and teach a class. and get some people to learn about how to
automation systems and processes.
That right there, what you do. You could teach them how to do that. But yeah, I just think it's such an interesting and unique way in which to use social media for good, and also to help keep us educated, because people are learning so much. And my TikTok is mostly, my For You page is usually it's really educational. Folks are all the people who even have like the messy tea and stuff, but it's usually about historical figures like old presidents and, dumb stuff they did or affairs they had, little stuff like that. But, I don't get like a lot of like the TikTok dances or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Mine is a little bit more cerebral, but I actually really love it. And I think more people should join in on it and take a class and learn something new, because our brains are slowly slowing down or quickly slowing down, and our attention spans are getting shorter, and we need all the help we can get.
Most definitely. And that's a great thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna figure out something. I want to get on that thing though.
Yeah, like see, get up.
I did a little, like I said, I did some minor research when I looked at it. I said, what is this? And I'm like, okay, this Black University thing. Boom. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go on here.
Right. It's our TikTok HBCU.
I love it. Yeah, and we need that. Like we need that. That's what I'm saying about, even to give Trump so much attention. Like I'm literally about to get off here and do a story about the human top. Like I'm about to do, I do my clips and like my news clips. And so I'm going to do something about that. Like, that's what I mean. Like we got to push ourselves to be more positive, to be more uplifting, because this can drag us. Like this 4 years is going to be rough for us.
It's going to be longer than 4 years. Yeah.
And we're going to feel it. The ramifications will last for a while. And I don't think people really understand how affected we are about to be. Like, I don't think they get it. So the only thing that we can do is band together. And it doesn't mean every single person is going to band together. We'll never get that. Because some people are going to support Trump all the way out the door and still talk about it 3 years later.
Or if it's not Trump, it's going to be Elon Musk, or it's going to be the other guy or the other guy.
Whoever. So we got to just do stuff like this. This is the things that we got to talk about, right? We got to talk about human talk. We got to talk about the positivity and, and just uplift our people. And that's the goal for the next 4 years, is just uplift our people and move forward in a positive light and something like that. It's just sad that we only had a little bit of time to talk about human talk.
Oh, well, you can come back. There's plenty more episodes to come, and I plan on talking about human talk some more, because like Definitely. I said, I'm really thinking about throwing it out there of teaching a class, maybe campaign planning or a reproductive justice class, I think is what I would like to do. I hope somebody makes sweatshirts so I can get me an alumni sweatshirt.
I love it. I'm jumping on that thing. I'm about to do some research and I'm going to figure out a way to get involved. I love it. I love our people. I ain't going to lie to you. Even the good, the bad, the people that voted for Trump, the people that do the dance for Trump and the blackface for Trump, I don't care. Like, I love our people. And even if they are not in the mindset that I'm in, I hope that they get found and that they realize that, what's best for our people. Sometimes it's not best for you. Sometimes you got to turn down that 1.5 million. Because
that's right. All money ain't worth it. Yeah. All access isn't worth it. But sometimes some of us it takes us longer to learn than others. That hard head is a soft behind. But thank you, Alvin. I appreciate your time, and especially with the time difference and all of that. But you're just an interesting person. And so I'm glad we got a chance to talk outside of American Dreams Reproductive Justice, that you can find on all streaming platforms, season 2, where you can find Alvin and a lot of other great stories about formerly incarcerated individuals and their journey through life. So hopefully folks will take a listen to that. But also, thank you for listening to Sticky Note Conversations. And thank you, Alvin, once again for being on this show, our first show of the season. Hopefully you'll come back. We'll talk about human talk. You'll be in the middle of your semester teaching a class, and we can compare notes and see how it's going.
Most definitely. I'm about to get on it. No joke. Soon as we get off. So y'all enjoy these shows, and I'll see y'all soon too.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to Sticky Note Conversations with Erika Washington. Hosted and executively produced by Erika Washington, with music, mixing, and editing by Black Gypsy LLC. Special thanks to KUNV 91.5 in Las Vegas. This show is powered by Make It Work Nevada, a project of Tides Advocacy.